Congratulations on that. Knocked out new miles. This is my 25th year. No, it's an awesome team. I got to tell you, Yvonne, Ariel, Alvaro, Michelle, everybody, they worked so hard to put these programs on, and we really appreciate the hard work that they put into them, and I know that you guys do too, so thank you. So today we've got Brandon Ramirez. He's our Senior Group Manager, Product Planning. He'll do the presentation. He's going to do the whole thing, the corporate and the product presentation. Afterwards, we'll have a quick Q&A, and Miles will be available to talk about the Apple Watch and Blue Link. After that, I'll come back up. We'll talk a little bit about the route. We've got all the pairings done. We've assigned vehicles this morning just to make the exit smooth. And then when we get to lunch, we'll swap. So we'll start. Brandon?
Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
Good morning.
So I'm very excited to talk about the Tucson. One of the great things about my job is I actually get to go to Korea and speak to the engineers on what went inside the vehicle. And I'm going to share that with you today. But first, I'm going to go over and talk about Hyundai. So we've been in business for 30 years, and since 2004, we introduced all new models. For example, last year we introduced the Tucson fuel cell. This year we introduced the Sonata plug-in hybrid. Now, as you can see from this chart, that sales have been growing significantly. And you can see that last year we had record sales at just over 725,000 units. Now, one of the reasons for our success are it's design. We came a long way on design, but it's also quality. We are committed to providing quality vehicles. And in the recent 2015 J.D. Power IQS, that's initial quality survey, Hyundai ranked number 4 in the industry. And that's better than Honda, that's better than Toyota. And we had 2 models actually win their segments. Accent, as well as Tucson. Now, with the added design and the focus on quality, you can see a significant improvement in overall brand value. You can see the comparison between 2004 to 2005 to 2015. As you can see, it's a big jump in brand value at 10.4 billion. And you can see right here that we're right in line with Ford as having really strong brand value. Now, what's happening in the industry? You guys may have known that in the industry, it's forecasted to grow 3%. Now, calendar year to date sales, the car segments are going down 3%, but the truck is going up. Now, unfortunately, we're not doing so well on SUVs calendar year to date. And one of the reasons is production. That's a real opportunity for us because 1 in 3 vehicles sold in the industry are CUVs, SUVs. Now, with all new Tucson, we're going to be in the heart of that segment. That segment's worth $1.7 million. And we also have a Santa Fe Sport, which is larger, and that's around 8.5 inches longer than Tucson. And we have the Santa Fe, which is around 8.5 inches longer than Santa Fe Sport. Now, each of those models have a distinct buyer. We're positioning Tucson towards pre-family buyers. Marrieds, couples, singles. And then you have Santa Fe that's targeted more towards families that have a need for that third row seat. And Santa Fe Sport is targeted towards empty nesters. But we know that buyers vary significantly. So you may have some families that really like the Tucson because of the fuel efficiency. But this is the general idea of how we position each of the vehicles. Now, this is a historical chart on Tucson sales. And as you can see, we blended the first generation, the second generation, and you can see that sales are relatively consistent. But last year, that's the final model year, you can see that our sales went up 12% in the final model year. And we could have sold more if we had more production. But remember I was telling you, we're not hitting our production. We need more production from the plants. But you can see we're getting more production later this year with this new Tucson. And next year, production is going to increase to 90,000 units. So we're very optimistic for the future. Now with Tucson, there's 3 development targets. Number 1 is to deliver a bold dynamic design. Number 2, to provide efficiency, as in this segment, in the subcompact segment, fuel economy is among the most important purchase reason. Also, we put special emphasis on improving driver confidence. So we improve ride quality, NVH, that's noise, vibration, and harshness. And our 3rd target is to provide advanced technology and safety. Now the design. The Tucson design was designed out of the European design studio in Germany. And as you can see from the design, the A-pillars are pushed backwards. The windshield is a little more upright, but what that does is it provides a prominent front end. And there's a rake to the wheel arches to kind of give the feeling that this vehicle is ready to pounce on its prey. Now the interior design was designed in the studio in California, in Irvine, California. And I'll talk about that in a minute. So from the front end, you can see it's very bold. It has a striking hexagon-shaped front grille, and that's our Hyundai signature. We have LED headlights that's available for the very first time. We have LED daytime running lights, and when you drive down the road, you're going to see these LED DRLs, and they look fantastic. Also, there's going to be available panoramic sunroof. For the profile, you can see it's very distinctive. The roof rails are not only sleek, but they're also functional. And you can see high contrast on the side profile. Muscular wheel arches and available 19-inch wheels. From the rear, you have a sporty rear spoiler that's standard, but it's also going to be aerodynamic, and I'm going to talk about that in a minute. We have available LED taillights, a wide sporty bumper, and a chrome dual exhaust. Now the Tucson, it does stretch. It stretches 3 inches in length. The wheelbase stretches 1.2 inches, and the width stretches 1.1 inches. And what that does for us, it allows us to provide more passenger and cargo utility. And we'll share more information on that in a minute. Now, from an interior design standpoint, our California design studios took the inspiration for this Terminal 5 at JFK. And what they wanted to do is they wanted to capture the spirit of flight. And you can kind of see that in this design. And what they also wanted to do inside the interior is provide a sense of spaciousness. Inside the vehicle, when you get inside, you're going to find that there's lots of premium material. On the dash, there's premium stitching. Also, I want you to feel the steering wheel. The leather-wrapped steering wheel is very premium. And we go on a lot of test drives on competitors, and we have RAV4 and CRV, and they're kind of cheap from the steering wheel standpoint. And feel the steering wheel and notice that difference. There's also, the interior is very harmonized. The metallic accents on the console match the steering wheel. There's chrome accents around the HVAC controls, the audio controls, the power window switches. So everything works together. Also, it's going to be 89 degrees today. So this vehicle has ventilated front seats. Now, if this sounds new for the segment, it actually is. It's a segment first feature. So go ahead and test that out in our 89-degree weather. Now, one of the important things that we needed to do, and we wanted to improve driver confidence. And we do that by making structural improvements. We improved body rigidity. We also improved ride quality, handling, and NVH. We also improved safety. So let's talk about that. Now, over 50% of the body is advanced high-strength steel, compared to only 18% of the outgoing Tucson. So that's significant. Over 50% of the vehicle is advanced high-strength steel. We also improved rigidity 48% over the outgoing Tucson. And that allows the engineers flexibility in tuning the vehicle for ride quality. Also, the body rigidity is even better than the VW Tiguan. Now, the suspension has been re-engineered. Now it has a four-point mount bushings to provide even greater ride quality. It also has this hydraulic bumper rebound spring stopper. And what that does is it reduces harshness on harsh roads. For the rear suspension, we went from a single lower arm to a dual lower arm for greater stability. Now remember I was mentioning that fuel economy is very important. So both of the front and the rear have a stabilizer bar, of course, but it has a hollow stabilizer bar for reduced weight. Now, when I went to Korea, they showed us a slide on their target testing for NVH. You know, they had a target figure and they had some of their test figures for some of the competitors. So what we did is 3 weeks ago, we acquired the top 3 competitors, the Honda CR-V, the Toyota RAV4, as well as the Ford Escape. And on these NVH tests, we remove the subjectiveness. And we instrument the whole interior, and we drove the interior, we drove the vehicles, and we found that we have less road noise, less wind noise, and less idle noise than these key competitors. So when you drive today, you're going to experience the quietness of the vehicle. And some of the ways that we improve the quietness is we added sound dampening from on the hood, on the dash, the fenders, and on the undercover as well. Also, what's kind of unique is on the 15 model year Tucson, you have a single member on the wheelhouse, and then you have the wheelhouse panel. But for 2016 Tucson, we integrated it to be an integrated dual member. And what that does is not only provide rigidity, but it also improves NVH as well. So from a safety standpoint, we're targeting to get the highest test scores. We're targeting to get II and AHS Top Safety Pick Plus, and also NHTSA 5-star. And some of the ways we do that is we strengthen the A pillar. We also strengthen the C and D pillars to be more resistant to torsional forces. And we applied hot stamping inside the passenger cabin. Now, there are going to be 2 engines that power the Tucson. First is the 2-liter engine, and that delivers 164 horsepower and 151 pounds-feet of torque. Now, we did offer this on the previous generation, but we did improve fuel economy 1 mpg combined to 26. The other engine we introduced, and the 2-liter engine will represent 25% of the mix. So the second engine is our 1.6 turbo engine, and that delivers 175 horsepower and 195 pounds-feet of torque. But here's the story. You know, on redesigns to get a 1 mpg improvement, that's pretty good. But we improved fuel economy 5 mpg combined compared to the outgoing 2.4 liter. 5 mpgs. And if on the highway, it's estimated to get 33 miles per gallon on the highway. So it's a fantastic achievement, but it's also more powerful. If you look at that chart, you can see that we hit 195 pound-feet of torque at only 1,500 RPM. You're going to feel that when you drive today. And so it's not only more fuel efficient, but it's more powerful than the outgoing 2.4 liter. So the 1.6 turbo is mated to the 7-speed dual-clutch transmission. Now, we do have a 7-speed dual-clutch transmission in our lineup, but as you know, it has the benefit of a manual transmission on fuel consumption, a very low fuel consumption. It has a benefit of the automatics. It has the comfort of automatic. You don't have to shift. But there's that direct connection for high fuel efficiency. Also, it's a balance between fuel economy and performance. You're going to find when you drive today that there's very quick shifts because there's no torque converter. So I hope you guys enjoy that. Now we know that all buyers are different. You know, if one buyer may buy the Tucson for fuel efficiency, others will buy it for utility and just an everyday commuter. So we developed these drive modes, just so that way people can choose what they want to drive. On these drive modes, we have Eco, we have a Normal, and we have a Sport. So an example is, let's say for the engine, you put it in Sport mode. You'll have more of a G feeling with that Sport mode. For transmission, for the Sport mode, you're going to have quicker downshifts. For steering, you're going to find that there's a significant difference between Eco to Normal to Sport. But the key is letting the consumer choose. Now, one of the benefits of improving aerodynamics is fuel economy. And so what we did is we improved the coefficient of drag from 0.35 to 0.33. And we did that by adding a lip to the front bumper. We also improved the curvature of the A-pillar. We also provided this side trim that you see here on the rear spoiler. And underneath the body there's an undercover. Now, you guys may have driven the Santa Fe Sport, but this also adopts the latest and greatest all-wheel drive system for Santa Fe Sport. It also has active cornering control. So when you're driving down the road on a curb, what it'll do is it'll apply brakes to the inner rear wheel to keep you on pace. Other driver aids are hill start assist and downhill brake control, and these are both standard on Tucson. So remember we evaluated those three models for NVH. So our engineers did additional tests, and I thought you guys may find this interesting. Braking is a safety feature, you know, and you can see that in our test that Tucson had a shorter braking distance than the key competitors. So by doing these comparison tests, it's very valuable for us to illustrate how strong the Tucson really is. Now, from the exterior feature standpoint, you know, we have the LED treatments. You have LED headlights. You have HID headlights. You have LED daytime running lights. You also have LED door handle approach lights as well. One thing that's really cool is the panoramic sunroof. We made it actually longer and we made it wider. And when you see it on the road, it looks fantastic. But inside, what it does is when the cover is open, it allows light inside the interior to create a sense of openness. Now, one of the complaints on our old Tucson was cargo volume. And it's kind of neat because we get to, at the headquarters, we get to show our employees the new designs. And our employees kind of avoided the last generation Tucson because the cargo volume was so small. But they saw this Tucson, this new Tucson, and they were shocked. They're shocked about how we improved the cargo utility. We actually improved cargo utility over 5 cubic feet to be 31 cubic feet. But when you see some of these premium vehicles on the road, like the Cayenne, we have more cargo room than the Cayenne, the QX70, and even the BMW X5. And that's kind of surprising. They're not competitors, of course, but it's just to show how surprising the cargo room is. Also, one other key feature is, let's say you're going to Costco, and you know you have you're going to haul a lot of items. But what you can do in the cargo area is you can put the floor down 2 inches, so that way you have greater cargo height. So I can go ahead and show you that at the car, but it gives the consumer better flexibility when managing cargo utility. Similar to Genesis, we have the hands-free liftgate. And what that is let's say you have your hands full. You walk to the back of your Tucson, you have your proximity key in your pocket.